You know that. Should know that.
Yeah, I just had, one,
This to be my luck.
here at the motorcycle.
If we're talking HVAC units. Oh, wow.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it.
And he was the only one who wasn't in on the joke.
No way.
Isn't that great? It is,
That's class, and they were all attorneys.
No, none of them were attorneys. Heck, no. Lawyers get to
Okay,
be-
good
just
evening,
exposed
everyone.
that
It's
way.
5 PM. I'll start over. Good evening, everyone. It's 5 PM. Time to it's August 4th, 2025, and time to start the Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. Ms. Jones, roll call, please.
Sure. Mayor Barnett,
Present.
Mr. Austin.
Here.
Ms. Job,
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. Please stand for the pledge. Okay, thank you. Is there any announcements or public comment that does not pertain to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll go on to next item, consent agenda.
Move to approve the meeting minutes from July 21st, Board of Works meeting, and also the approval of claims.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. There isn't any old business. We'll go right into new business. Request for a projecting sign at 90 East Jefferson Street. Kevin Goway, is that the way you say it? Okay. Yeah, you want to, if you don't mind, yeah.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, just give us your name and what you're wanting to do, which we see it on the agenda.
Sure. Kevin Goey, the Foundry Gas Strip Up. Trying to put a sign up at 90 East Jefferson Street that overhangs the sidewalk.
And just to get right to the point, we're all excited about, we're going to have someone in the old Jeff Street Lounge. That name is changing. We won't call it that no more.
You can call it whatever you want as long as you come.
I like that.
We will.
And I'm sure we'll come, too.
Absolutely.
Joanna, I know that Alex has checked all this, and every time signs don't get put on the agenda unless it meets the criteria, correct?
It's all been reviewed and meets all the standards following tonight's meeting.
Okay, so I think we're ready for approval, unless there's any questions.
I'll move to approve the request for projecting sign at 90 East Jefferson Street.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Kevin. Looking
Thank
forward to
you.
you getting opened up. Do you know about when it'll be? I know it's hard to say, but,
It is hard to tell. End of September, beginning of October is our projection.
okay.
So soon.
Okay, and to go along with that, Mr. Parrish had asked if we could approve, like we did in the past, to use the sidewalk to pull up on to unload stuff, because that's a real wide sidewalk there, and that's better than blocking the street. So I would make a motion that for the next 60 days, that Mr. Parrish and Kevin's crew is able to get off the street to unload their stuff.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye. I want to verify, though, are they putting down like 4x8 sheets to protect it, or?
There won't be, if there's anything, good point, Ken, thank you. If there's anything heavy that gets on the sidewalk to scratch it up, we always require putting down plywood or something like that to keep from scratching up the area.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Will you be Jeff Street or will you be? Water.
Water's gonna really,
Yeah.
water's gonna really
large wide sidewalk, and if you stay in the street, you completely block the street.
Right, but,
If you pull up to the beer delivery area, piss off the beer delivery people. So, it's kind of a nice thing to kind of do that. Make long story short, to your question, we mainly use, my black, four-wheel trailer, lightweight trailer, and, don't put a whole lot of weight on it. When we get to working on the second, third floor next year or two, then we will have to talk about
Yeah.
protecting things because of the weight that we'll be putting on it at that time.
Fair enough. Thank you.
well, don't upset the beer distributor. All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, item number 2, presentation and evaluation of the bids for the wastewater treatment plant expansion. Gary Rustin, Westler. Gary, you're not Gary.
I am not. Gary's under the weather tonight, so I am here instead. So I'm Bridget Ingram. I'm with Westler Engineering, here to talk to you a little bit about the bids we received last Tuesday on the 29th for the wastewater treatment plant expansion project. It's been a long time coming, and we were very excited that we received 7 different bids. Those bids ranged in price from the low bid of $26,689,000 to a little over $37.5 million. The engineer's estimate for the project was just around $30 million, so the low bid was actually 11% lower than our engineer's estimate. That low bid was from Pace Construction LLC. They're based out of Louisville, Kentucky. And we have reviewed their bid package that they submitted on Tuesday, and it is complete in nature. We've also reached out to some folks to make sure their references checked out. We've been very happy with the responses we've received from everyone. So our recommendation to you is that they appear to be the low bid and most responsible bidder. And if you're interested, you can go ahead and approve them contingent on all of the bonds and closing.
Bridget, if I may ask
Yep.
simply so that we make sure, given the amount and the fact we have a bond issue that's coming up that's not already done, could you please read for the record the bids and the bids amount? Because I did not see it in my packet.
Yes,
I
sure.
didn't see it either.
Yeah, so would you read?
Yes.
Read the bids and make it part of the
Sure.
public record, please?
I'll read them from lowest to highest here.
Thank you.
Yep. Pace Contracting LLC had a bid price of $26,689,000. Reynolds Construction LLC was at $29,417,000. Thieneman Construction had a bid price of $29,698,000. Shook Construction had a price of $32,910,000. Mitchell and Stark Construction Company was at $32,960,000. Patterson Horth had a price of $37,300,000. And F.A. Wilhelm Construction Company had a price of $37,577,000.
And I wanted to reiterate to the board that given a $10 million range, I ask Gary to do the due diligence, which is what we hire them to do, to reach out to other people to see, because we had not worked with the low bidder at this point in time. The second thing I indicated to Gary and Bridget, I think was on the email as well, is that we technically have not gotten the bonds approved yet, although we're in the process and we are right on track with what we thought we were going to be. So if you are inclined, typically what we would do is we would determine them to be the lowest, most responsible and responsive bidder and authorize our engineer to send the notice to proceed. We shouldn't send the notice to proceed until we have the $20-some million able to prepare it. So my recommendation to you, if you're so inclined, your motion should be that you determine the bid to be the lowest, most responsive, and responsible bid, and subject to obtaining satisfactory financing through its bond issuance, authorize issuance of the notice of award to the contractor.
I can't write that fast.
What you want, I wrote it down for you if you are.
So while Mr. Austin is looking that over, I just want to say, I did reach out to former mayor of Shelbyville, Tom DeBon. They had done some work there for them, a couple different projects. They told me it was good experience with absolutely no issues. So I just want you to know that I did a little checking myself.
That was my first question, was
Yep.
going to be your experience with PACE.
Sure.
And what kind of experience they have building wastewater treatment plants.
Yep, so Wester's actually never worked with Pace Construction before, which is why we felt so strongly about reaching out to make sure that they were going to be a good fit. They are very much in the wastewater treatment plant business. It is a strong portion of what they do. We reached out to 3 or 4 different folks that have worked with them before, and everyone, same as what the mayor said, had a glowing review for them on these types of projects. We worked with the City of Louisville's municipal group, and they work with them frequently. It's right where Pace is headquartered out of, and they said that Pace is one of their favorite contractors to work with.
I've heard of them. I do business down on the river, and I've heard of them, but we haven't done any business that I know of in the city of Franklin. So thank you for checking.
Sure.
Thank you, Mayor, for making that extra phone call.
Yep. Any other questions that I might be able to answer?
No, go ahead. You had a question, a good question about why we didn't get the contract. Go ahead and say that. If you don't mind.
Sure. So I asked this afternoon why we didn't get like the bid summary and some of that supporting documentation along with the agenda item.
So we did put together a certified bid tab, and I thought that that was sent along with the agenda request, but if not, we can send that over to you. So we reviewed and have a list of making sure what documents were included with each individual bid that I have stamped and signed off on. So we can get that over to you.
That's perfect.
If
Thank
you-
you.
Yep.
Yeah,
I have a
I-
copy of it too that I can leave
Yeah.
with you.
Maybe
Gary
we
did
can-
send it to me. I didn't know it had not been given to the clerk treasurer's office to give to you. but
Okay.
He did send it immediately when they opened the bids.
If we could get a couple copies, that'd be great.
Yep, sure.
Before you leave would be even
Yep,
better.
We can do that.
Thank you.
One more question for Lynn. How long are the bids? How long?
They don't become stale.
Okay.
Yeah, if that's the concern. We are meeting, we're right on schedule. If anything, we're early on this, on
Okay.
this part, but we wanted to do it earlier rather than later so that we could fill in the numbers in our bid bonds. So that's why with the motion, the way that it is, it's subject to getting our financing. If for some reason financing falls through, the bids don't go, but the bids don't become stale. It was put forth in the RFP. that-
Okay.
that it was going to be subject to a bond issue. All of our bidders knew
Okay.
that that was part of the process.
So do you think that process will happen before the end of the year?
The clerk treasurer and I have a scheduled bond meeting where we have to meet with the brokers that place the bond. It's this month, I know.
Next Monday or the Monday after.
Yeah, so it's this,
Okay.
so that's that, and then they go out to place the bond. So yes, the answer to your direct question is yes, I believe it'll be done before the end of the year.
Okay.
And to add a little bit more to that, part of that bond is also going to be the west side interceptor that, there's 2 parts here.
Okay.
That's what we said our sewer rates was for this project and the west side interceptor.
Okay.
And we still just have estimates there. We haven't bid that one yet, so.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
Steve, can you tell me at this, right at, or $27 million quote that we got from Pace, where does that stand in conjunction with the Interceptor project?
The interceptor project, we
As
just.
far as dollar amounts?
Right, we just had some estimates, which I think is high, and I did some refiguring on that today, going on percentage of what the first phase was. We're going to be around $10 to $13 million with.
Okay.
With that one, I think that we were looking to bond 40.
46.
I think it was right at 40, and then we have other means with RDC and with the edit funds to cover the rest, if we need be.
Thank you.
Did you get that?
I did. Mm-hmm.
All right. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew where we was at with,
No, that's fine.
on the total project.
Yeah, that's where I was
Yeah.
looking at the total.
Okay.
Tina, do you have any more questions or concerns?
No.
Okay, I'll take a jab at it. It's
Okay.
written.
Can you read, Ken?
Would you stop?
I typed it because he probably couldn't have read my writing.
Make a motion to approve the Board of Work determines the bid to be the lowest, most responsive and responsible bid and subject to obtaining satisfactory financing through its bond issuance. Authorize issuance of the notice of award to the contractor as presented.
I
Second.
couldn't have written it any better.
Well, obviously,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
aye.
Thank you.
Very welcome. I have one copy of the certified bid tab. I'm happy to run upstairs and make more copies if you guys would like.
I
don't-
can wait until you can forward it through email.
Okay,
That's fine. That's
okay.
fine.
I'll leave this
Email's
here.
fine.
I'll give you the one copy. we
That's
have,
cool.
and then-
We'll make
fine.
that. Would you give that to the clerk treasurer so she have it part of the record? Thank you, Bridget. Appreciate your help.
Okay, next item. Permission to move forward with Bobcat of Indy sales agreement. Fleet manager, street commissioner Brett Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. In the essence of good bids on this project, this is changing a little bit. We would like to forego the lease portion of this. And I think after meeting with the mayor this afternoon, we think it's better, it'd be a better decision for us to just buy this piece of equipment. However, we need to transfer funds from the sewer fund to the wastewater treatment plant 400 series, which we will put on the agenda for next meeting. So basically changing this to just allowing us to trade the CAT telehandler for the $13,000 in credit, and then that amount then would come off that $85,717. So we will pay $72,717 for this machine once the money's been transferred at the next meeting. So if you would be so kind, the motion around allowing us to trade the telehandler and then move forward with the purchase subject to the transfer of funds from the sewer fund to the wastewater treatment 400 series.
And I want to thank Brett and the mayor for considering this, because Brett was kind enough to send me the lease documents, and they were awful. They had a lot of they were just bad. There were a lot of things in there that just didn't make sense. They were inconsistent with what we typically do. When Brett and I had a conversation, we weren't getting a whole lot of savings by leasing it. And they had little things such as a $12 a month handling fee because we were just little things in there. And Brett said, given the fact we're not getting a great discount, let me just talk to the mayor about just buying it outright. So sorry for the change, but I think it's a change for the better.
Yeah.
We weren't just.
It is. We were trying to stay within their appropriated budget, but
Right.
then after a conversation with the mayor around being fiscally responsible in this decision, it was best if we could just move the money and just pay for the piece of equipment and not spread this out over 4 years.
Right.
So Brett, this is the same Bobcat Indy, right, that we buy a lot of equipment from, and you got a great relationship with these people,
Yep.
correct?
Yeah, and it's all through Sourcewell.
Sourcewell,
It's a
so it's-
Sourcewell deal, so it's the predetermined contract
And in,
discount.
in the past, it seems like we've been getting good deals,
Yeah.
right? And you're saying on this particular one, it wasn't.
Well, no, I
was-
wouldn't say that. It's a source well. So what we were doing, and Brett, please correct me if you're wrong, as I understand it from reading this 3 times, because I couldn't understand it. It was that inconsistent. We were going to buy the equipment from Bobcat, but it was going to be leased through Wells Fargo. And so the Bobcat lease, we can accept it because it is Sourcewell, which that's the provision where it's already publicly bid. And so if you buy a certain piece of equipment off this Sourcewell site, it's a public bid. So you are getting the government price. So you don't have to do separate bids.
Okay.
So Bobcat is giving us the government price. But when you plugged it into the lease and spread it out over the number of years, and then the additional costs that they were building into the lease.
Wishy-washy.
It just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
And it had a lot of crazy things, like they were going to pass through the taxes to us from the sale. The leaseholder was. Well, we don't pay taxes. We're a non-taxing entity. The little $12, wasn't that much, but it's $12 a month. It was not. So after we talked about it, we weren't getting a big savings by leasing it as opposed to going ahead and just buying it outright.
Brett, you got a crew of multiple people that use your Bobcats, or is there only specific guys or girls that can get on these equipment and run it?
This one will actually be at DPW, so
Okay.
I guess I can defer to Sally, but I feel pretty confident that it will only be qualified individuals will be operating this piece of equipment.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brett.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your help.
Yeah, no problem.
And the transfer of the money, just so everyone knows, will be this board right here transfers the money with
Yeah.
one meeting. So the next meeting, we can do that.
So that doesn't need to be this part, or part of the motion?
No, if you'll just authorize the approval of the purchase and the trade-in of the existing equipment, subject to financing, then Brett can get started on the order. And then the next meeting, because it is the same board,
Right.
being you, which is fortunate, then we can have the money.
Okay.
We just didn't feel, since it wasn't advertised, right, on this agenda correctly, that we were going to move money, we felt like, in agreement with Lynn, that we needed to just do it at the next meeting.
Okay.
Right. But you can authorize the sale and purchase today. Purchase and trade-in today.
Okay.
Subject to financing.
I will make a motion to approve going forward with the purchase of the 2025 Bobcat Compact Track Loader, and also authorize the trade-in of the 2001 CAT Model TH62, subject to identification of and approval of funding. Perfect. Good.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brett. Okay, next item, request approval and execution of change order number 3, final for the 2024 Graham Road Roundabouts project. Matt McElroy.
Thank you. Yeah, this is the final change order. It's a balancing change order for the project. It included the 2 roundabouts on Graham Road, one at Earlywood, one at Paul Hand. The project's been finalized out. Agreements have been made with the contractor on final quantities. So this is the final change order to do the final payment to Dave O'Mara Contractors. The change order was amount of $210,003.70. That's a result of an overall contract difference of minus 6.82%. So from original $2,939,700 to $2,738,542.30. Basically, the underage is just a underrun balancing. I think we saw a lot in undistributed items that we had for the culvert for undercutting or stuff like that that we didn't have to use once we got into the thick of it. And I believe that was really it, just, good inspecting by Crossroad engineers to save us some items out in the field, and pretty good project, in my opinion.
That's a lot of money. Normally, it's the opposite way.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah.
Move to approve and execute change order number 3, final change order for the 2024 Graham Road Roundabout project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Mayor, did you remind me that this is a project where we were in partnership?
That is. This project here, we're in partnership with the county and Whiteland, and there will be a refund back to the county and Whiteland. And just off the top of my head, round numbers, I think Whiteland gets about 80,000 back, and the county's going to get 60-some thousand back.
It's
There you go. Matt's got it.
$80,500 to the county and $92,000 to Whiteland.
And the
Because we
rest-
had the same share, us and Whiteland had the same share of it. Yep.
92 to Whiteland?
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
And that's a good thing. We save money as well. I mean, it was a
Absolutely.
partnership, so we saved what we,
Yeah, we saved the same as Whiteland, so $92,940, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
no, I just keep going on about this project because I don't know very many that we partnered with the county and another municipality at the same time. So I feel good about that.
Yeah. And we're all getting money back. It's nice.
Unheard of.
Yeah.
Okay, next item, acceptance and execution of the following documents related to Kingsbridge Section 4, City Engineer Matt McElroy.
Thank you. Yeah, this is on behalf of Platinum Properties Management for out in Kingsbridge. They're getting ready to get going on Kingsbridge Section 4, which I believe is the last of the 5 sections that they've got out there. So these are just our sanitary, our agreements, the sanitary sewer special agreement and the inspection service agreements. These are presented on our standard forms as well.
What makes them special agreements?
That's a good question.
As opposed to ordinary
I'm kind of
agreements?
serious. Yeah, I'm serious.
I believe it's what it was referred to in Indiana code.
It,
Okay, so it's not special, like,
no.
for
no,
us?
No.
No.
But Joanna is right, because you used to not be able to do sewer service agreements.
Okay.
Years ago. And then they came along, the legislature passed legislation, and they said, well, we are gonna allow special sewer agreements between certain entities. And so that's,
Okay.
so the word
That's what makes
special
it
agreements
special.
comes, yeah, I mean, yeah, there's nothing particularly
I
special.
thought maybe there was an exception or something.
That's a great question, but it comes from the statute that creates them.
Okay, thank you.
So I move to approve the acceptance execution of the Kingsbridge Section 4 Sanitary Sewer Service Special Agreements, the Earthwork and Paving Inspection Service Agreement, and the Storm and Sanitary Sewer Inspection Service Agreements as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next item, request approval and acceptance of the following subdivision performance bonds for Kingsbridge Section 4. City Engineer Matt McElroy.
Thanks. Again, this is on behalf of Platinum Property Management Company LLC. This goes along with the agreements that we just accepted. This is the performance bond for erosion control, number 5870671, in the amount of $109,965.
I'll make a motion to approve and accept the subdivision performance bond for Kingsbridge Section 4.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matt. Next item, request to authorize participation in the Purdue Pharma bankruptcy plan. City Attorney Lynn Gray.
Thank you, Mayor, and if you will indulge me just a minute, this, again, refers to the opioid litigations and settlements, okay? This is a different party, but quite frankly, probably the biggest settlement that will occur. The Sackler family, S-A-C-K-L-E-R, is the family that formed and started Purdue Pharma, has no relationship to your favorite institution, Ms. Jones. Purdue Pharma was a completely different entity that frankly began the manufacturing of opioids and was the target defendant in most of the litigation, claiming that they were the ones that marketed it to the retailers, distributors, et cetera, and caused the crisis. That's what started the lawsuits, and because of the number of lawsuits nationwide, the Sackler family and the Purdue Pharma Corporation went into bankruptcy. And that was 6 years ago. And as a result of the bankruptcy, there were 12 plans that were submitted by the bankruptcy trustee to put money in and pay persons who were creditors. We are one of those, in addition to hundreds of thousands of other creditors who said we had had damages because we had to respond to so many opioid claims. There were 12 plans before the bankruptcy court approved one. That then went to the United States Supreme Court because the whole issue on that was once they got the money that they wanted from the Sackler family, the Sackler family said, we don't want to pay these billions of dollars, and I'll tell you how much in a minute, unless we are sure that there aren't going to be other entities out there to file claims against us. Because in a typical bankruptcy, what you do is you file bankruptcy and you list all your creditors, and once you pay your creditors, all the claims are resolved. Probably a legitimate request from the Sackler family is, if we pay all this money, how do we know there aren't other claims out there? The Supreme Court said you don't, so you can't release non-claimants. Came back to the bankruptcy judge, and this is the 13th reiteration of the settlement agreement. I have all 199 pages for your perusal if you wish. And the whole idea is this is how it's going to be structured. The Sackler family and Purdue Pharma collectively will deposit $6.5 billion with a B into trusts. Those trusts will then be divided into types of trusts to be used to be able to pay claims. One set of trust claimants will be states and localities, which are us. Another set of trust claimants will be Native American tribes. The third will be healthcare providers. The fourth will be public schools. And then the other will be emergency rooms and emergency room physicians. So all this money will be put, and you will be either in one of these categories of the trusts. Those $6.5 billion will be paid in 16 installments over the next 15 years. And depending on the number of people who approve of the plan, the money that you will get will increase, because if there are people out there who don't approve and they have to litigate them, then the bankruptcy court leaves more money for the litigation cost. When that money is then put in place, Purdue Pharma as a corporation will be dissolved. They will cease producing and manufacturing opioids, and $135 million of the money will be placed in a new company called NewCo, whose sole stated charter, subject to the bankruptcy court's review, will be to provide, inform remedies for opioid abuse disturbance, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it, disorders. And so $135 million from the company's assets will then, because that'll all be left, will be used for those in the new company. So the bottom line from our lawyers, every lawyer that I have seen, is that if people are willing to approve participation in the bankruptcy, it will increase the amount of money that will go to those trust members that I talked to you about. If you ask me how much it will be, I have no idea, because we don't know how many people will participate. We don't know how many will reject it. I don't think, right now it's running about 90% approval rate, so I would expect most to approve it. But I do also believe that it will be the largest payout that we receive from all of the other opioid settlements that we've received so far, because this was the target defendant. So with that, I am asking for your approval to authorize our attorney to agree to participate in the bankruptcy plan and file a claim. I can answer any questions, maybe. But I do applaud you again for allowing us to participate years ago, because we thought then this would be the equivalent of what the tobacco settlement funds were, 20 years ago when this all started. This is exactly what it's going to be. I think it could be hundreds of thousands of dollars to us, in addition to that which we've already received, so.
I make a motion to authorize the participation in the Purdue Pharma bankruptcy plan as presented by our city attorney, Lynn Gray.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Ms. Gray, this money that we would receive would go to the same plan that we already have with the county, correct?
Well,
This
it'll go
one
to us first.
Right, and then we can,
Yeah, and then we can, yes, it will go to us, and it has to go to opioid remediation. I can't tell you if a part of it will be unrestricted, because the unrestricted funds, we can use however we want. We don't know yet, because we don't.
okay, so this would be one that we would decide to join that again with the county?
Correct.
Or not in the
Correct.
proper times here?
Correct.
Okay,
And-
thank you.
And when that will be, I can't really tell you. This is the first step. But they do expect the $6.5 billion to be paid over the next 15 years, with the first $1.5 billion as the down payment. When they throw these numbers around, it's hard for me to calculate, but yeah, the first $1.5 billion will be paid immediately upon approval of the bankruptcy settlement. So, billion with a B.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to other business. We do have one item, request disposal of salvage equipment. Director of Technology, Rick Littleton.
Well, what I'm proposing isn't going to get us that kind of money.
Can we get a Bitcoin, maybe? One Bitcoin?
But I intended to have this on the last agenda and failed to attach this document. But we've done this before. We do get a little bit of money back on the mobile devices. So we will get $180 for a bunch of old used mobile devices, and that money is just returned to the general fund.
Okay, thank you, Rick.
So do we need to approve that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Move to approve the disposal of salvage equipment presented by Mr. Littleton.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Rick. We'll go to the department reports. Sally, we'll start your end.
Hi, I suppose you all remember approving a purchase of a pump kind of on a loan program. It was called a Penn Valley pump. That has arrived. It's been installed, plumbed, and wired, and we're just waiting on the manufacturer to come and give us a startup, so we're pretty excited about that. And we've been attending some pump trainings in schools. We have another one, a free one. It's free to our employees. Tomorrow, it's being held at our senior center, so a good training opportunity for a lot of our guys. And we appreciate the Parks and Rec for hosting that. And also, we made that telehandler last 24 years. I can't believe that. Can you, Rick?
I know. We got
I remember when it was brand new, and then we've made it last. So I hope we can do the same with our new piece of equipment. Thank you.
So how many years did you say?
24.
So 24 years, and we're replacing it with a $72,000 machine. I think that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That's
We-
pretty good.
We still
Did
have a
lot of-
front-end loader that we got the same time. We had a telehandler and a front-end loader, and still running.
I thought getting 13,000 on trade-in or whatever we got was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Probably what it
Based on,
cost.
yeah.
That's probably what it cost 20-some years ago.
I don't know. It runs. I mean, it just needs a little work, so.
All right.
But anyway, thank you for that.
All right,
We'll
thank you,
use it.
Sally. Joanna?
Yeah, so on Saturday, we had the first kickoff public engagement event for the comprehensive plan. HWC had a booth at the farmer's market. There's was quite a few people that stopped and had questions, shared their information. So we do have some pamphlets that are on the table and QR codes that you can go on and reply to the survey. And then there's also a mapping tool on there. And then our next public engagement will be August 21st at 6 PM at Beeson Hall, Parks and Rec. So we hope people
And
turn
thank
out.
you, Joanna, for talking about that. The Daily Journal sent me an email today wanting some information, so Joanna, and she's spearheading the project, so just so you know. Okay. Thank you, Joanna. Brett?
Nothing else tonight. Thank you.
Krista?
Just to remind everybody of the asphalt art that went in the last several days at Jackson and Monroe at that intersection. So that is a project of the Public Arts Commission, and we did receive full grant funding for that. So that none of that came out of our regular general fund. That was all arts funding. So we're excited about that. And then this coming Saturday, Discover Downtown Franklin is hosting the Hops and Vines Festival at the amphitheater. It starts at 5 PM, so we hope to see everybody there for that.
Okay, thank you. Krista may have some information also for the comprehensive plan. Yeah. Okay, Rick?
I don't have anything else, sir.
Okay, thank you. Sherry?
I do not tonight, thank you.
Chief Snyder?
Nothing tonight, sir.
Chief Cochran?
Ditto.
Chief Chip?
Thank you. Parks Chief. Tomorrow is a huge day at the Parks Department. It is the last day of summer programs, and then we turn them over to Tina the next day. So we are very excited. Last day of Kickapoo, the last day the pool is open during the week is tomorrow, so then it'll be open the weekends after that. So, and I'm excited, and that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Chip. Jan, do you have anything?
I do not, thank you.
Okay, Tina?
No, thanks.
Ken?
Nice weekend downtown. There was a lot of people out, so it's nice seeing people shopping and moseying around, listening to music, and it's nice.
Ms. Gray?
Nothing, sir.
Okay. And I have nothing but to tell everybody thank you for your hard work for the city of Franklin. Thank you, and with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.